Waves of a different sort have begun to flow through Glenwood Canyon. The construction of a 4-lane interstate through 12 miles of the gorge will indeed change the base of the canyon and will, for better or worse, change the face of the mighty Colorado River. A 4-lane interstate was far from reality earlier this century when Taylor State Road, now I-70, was barely big enough for a horse and buggy, let alone a semi-trailer truck. The Colorado River, which cuts through the high walls of the canyon, has been used in the past for various reasons, but most recently as a recreational site for boaters. To some, this new interstate has its advantages, with a bicycle path to run the length of the project, the expansive 4 lanes of continuous highway for non-stop driving, and the controlled access for those that want to detour and experience the beauty of the canyon. 40 pull-offs, however, will be eliminated with the new highway and be replaced with 5 access areas to the river and trails within the gorge-like canyon. The controlled access so necessary in the interstate construction has some boaters worried.
You won't be able to pull over to scout the rapid as you usually can now at most any level and see where you want to go or you don't want to go. You'll get a quick glimpse at 50 miles an hour maybe, depending on the design, and you might not be able to put in where you'd like to and be forced to take some chances and that sort of thing. And in general, just construction by the side of any river will throw in a lot of real sharp, angular, freshly broken rocks that will be fine in a couple thousand years after the river's had time to wear them down, but in the meantime it's an unnatural kind of hydrology that develops and a little more danger associated with the sharp rocks and whatnot.
It's already been changed a lot by the existing road and the railroad on the other side. I'm not wild about seeing a 4-lane go through here, but I don't think we can stop it at this point, and as long as it doesn't, I guess my main point is as long as it doesn't conflict with river use for recreational purposes, then I'm satisfied.
Although it definitely won't be as convenient, Glenwood Canyon project manager Ralph Trapani assured boaters during a recent meeting that they will have access to the river.
There's going to be an interchange here at the power plant with an eastbound off-ramp and a westbound on-ramp. But the other interchanges are here at the dam and back here at Grizzly Creek. You've got a 6-foot shoulder on this highway if you're eastbound. You can't stop and get your car off the road. If you want to take the photos and have the scenic opportunities, that's what the bike path is for.
Boaters are hoping the bike path will be accessible at all times of the year for scouting, even during high runoff periods when the river current excites some kayakers to challenge the element. Head of the Aspen Kayak School, Kirk Baker, sees the riverbank slowly turning into concrete wall, a danger to boaters who take a swim, since it would be nearly impossible for someone to climb the smooth walls. However, Kirk also sees it as an enhancing feature of the new interstate.
The thing that's interesting about the upper section, like I was saying, is the sound noise is not as bad because of the concrete buttresses they put in. And so they could make the highway virtually invisible there. So it could be even enhance it. It could be nicer.
Kirk adds it's exciting to think the construction could make the Colorado River runnable from the dam above Shoshone down to Glenwood Springs.
Think what a little bit of engineering effort it would take to make it and really enhance the river there, because they're never really going to change the walls, and the walls are spectacular as you're floating down the river enjoying it. And I think Barrel Springs and maybe even the kayaker's nightmare up above it might be made runnable.
How a traveler's disadvantage, the controlled access highway will mean missing the opportunity to stop and catch the kayakers playing in the Colorado River.
I just can't believe this. I can't really believe I'm seeing all this.
It looks like fun. I like to try it maybe someday.
I've seen a lot today that I never thought I'd ever see.
Do you have to take lessons for it?
Until the project is complete, kayakers and rafting companies must deal with various schedules in order to pull off the highway and not create utter chaos with other traffic moving through the canyon, which during the week is on a one-way platoon system.
We create a one-lane highway essentially from what we call the west traffic control point to the east traffic control point. The west point is just this side of Grizzly Creek. The east traffic control point is below the dam, approximately a quarter mile below, somewhere in there. The purpose of that one-way system is to ease the number of stops that a tourist is going to have, and a secondary benefit is to allow the contractors some uninterrupted time to do their work out there.
Rafting companies have been assured the delays for them should be minimal. Owner of Blazing Paddles, Bob Harris, stresses the fact that construction is not something he wants to see, but is willing to be optimistic about.
I suppose looking on the positive side, I think it's going to remove the immediate road situation from the river situation. People are either going to be driving through or they're going to be enjoying it by stopping at the designated, rest areas and that sort of thing. To date, it's just, you're not sure if you're on the road or on the side of the river or whatnot. I think once the canyon gets built, once the freeway's through there, I think the environment right by the river will be nicer, but there's an awful lot of construction. The jury is still out on, what that construction is going to do to the canyon walls and just the whole atmosphere in there.
The construction atmosphere will shut down one of the most popular put-ins for kayakers and rafters for the summer of 1986. There will be no river access at Shoshone in Glenwood Canyon. Rafters will most likely choose to forego the rapid, but some kayakers will find the whitewater of Shoshone worth the time and effort involved in getting there. Without putting in at Shoshone, the kayakers must drive to the Hanging Lake Trailhead, which is normally congested on weekends with those wanting to take in the scenic trail. Boaters will have a peaceful ride until they get to the Shoshone Dam. Then it's out of the boats to portage around the dam and falls, also known as the kayaker's nightmare. The steep slope of the riverbed and sharp protruding rocks at Shoshone Falls have kept kayakers away. Putting in just below the falls, the kayakers run the easiest stretch of the rapid. After another half mile, the kayakers approach their second portage at Barrel Springs Rapid. While runnable by a few expert kayakers at certain water levels, most will choose to put in halfway down the Barrel Springs chute. The reward, after the lengthy and somewhat arduous portaging, the Shoshone Rapid. The multi-million-dollar project, estimated to cost up to $500 million by completion in the early 1990s, will probably continue to be controversial. But boaters and those that just enjoy watching boaters are keeping their fingers crossed the river. An enormous show of power by Mother Nature will continue to entice, leaving those who go through the canyon the opportunity to enjoy.
Well, I think it's being part of, it's kind of corny, but being part of the universe. You know, you're going down the old river that's floating down there, and you're part of a thing that's growing and constantly working and changing the rock, changing the bottom, and you're a very insignificant part of that. But you feel kind of a part of being with mankind, just like walking through a natural trail or something like that. You feel very much a part of the universe, part of the outdoors, part of the flow of it. And not just for the whitewater excitement, you know, of it. More and more people are getting into kayaking for a feeling of just touring, for just going out and feeling a part of it and going down with it. Of course, there is the excitement there, too, and that's also fun. And it would be nice if they could make some perfect ender holes and do some things that would enhance that a little bit. But I enjoy the river very much and always have, for both aspects of it, for the excitement and the challenge and for the mellowness. Just the serenity of it and the peace it gives me.